Welcome to Contracting Conversations. My name is Jim Valley. I'm joined by my co-host, Scott Williams. Today we are talking with DAU's Contracting Center Director, Mr. Kevin Linden, who has been involved from the very beginning on developing with the services and Fourth Estate the new contracting certification construct for the DoD contracting workforce. So, Mr. Linden, we thought it'd be really good to bring you back 1 year later after Back to Basics began February of 2022 to talk about the certification courses, the prep courses, the exam, the credentials, and other stuff going on with DAU 1 year later. So welcome.
Well, thanks, Jim and Scott. I appreciate it. And it's hard to believe that it's been a year already with the implementation of the new DWIA modernization, or Back to Basics, as we like to call it. And specifically for contracting, what we've done is create the new DoD Contracting Professional Certification Program. And as you all know, since it's been a year, there's those education requirements, training requirements, which we'll get into in a little bit, a year 12-month experience requirement, all of that capped off with a assessment, a new DoD exam for contracting. And then, of course, all of that once is all validated by your service organization to make sure that you completed everything, and your service organization gives you your certification. Remember, DOU does not give the certification. We provide the training, and we also provide access to the DoD exam for contracting. So if you remember, what we've implemented are 4 brand new certification courses: Con 1100, which is 1100V virtual, which is our contract foundational skills course; Con 1200V contract pre-award; Con 1300V contract award; and Con 1400V contract post-award. And these courses follow the same construct, meaning that they have contained both self-paced and synchronous portions of the class. And they're all over the course of 19 days, with ranging anywhere from 41 to 60 hours per course. And these courses follow along the new, 2 years old now, DoD contracting competency model of the ANSI standard of pre-award, award, post-award competencies. So our courses talk about contracting life cycle, understanding the FAR, guiding principles. Then we get into the pre-award course, which talks about understanding industry, market research, how to put together a solicitation package, small business programs, and topics of that nature. Our Con 1300 course talks about price cost analysis, negotiating, and awarding the contract. And then 1400V post-award takes you from contract award through contract closeout. And so we're really excited about these courses. We have some good statistics so far for graduates that I can run off for you right now. And we have Con 1100V, we have just over 3,000 grads. Con 1200, just over 1,600 grads. Con 1300V, we have 1,100 grads. Con 1400V, we have 776 grads. And we also have a prep course that we put in there, not mandatory, but really good for you as you prepare for your exam. The prep course is Con 3900V. We have over 560 people that have actually graduated the prep course, which is a virtual course. We also offer Con 3910, Con 3910, which is a pure online version of the prep course, and we have over almost 350 graduates over the past year for those courses. So we're really proud. We're getting pretty good feedback from students and our DAU faculty on our certification courses. We always look for areas to improve. So when you apply and register for these courses, please do complete those student surveys. We really do look at them because we're always looking to we're always looking to improve the training that we deliver to you, the workforce.
I guess the question is, what's the process to actually where we go about making changes to the courses? Because I know there's some students that think we should be doing things maybe a little different with the length and the way we present the courses. So what's that process?
So the process for course improvement is we have what we call a learning asset manager, and they have a team here within DAU where we look at the actual material of the course and then, of course, update it for anything that any changes to the FAR or policy that comes out. But they also look at the comments to the students that they provide in those after course surveys. and we look for trends. Are we seeing things where students want more virtual instruction? Students want less virtual instruction, certain topics, maybe it's too far in the weeds, or maybe there's topics that aren't taught that that students would like to see. So we look at all that stuff, and then we determine, what we need to do to change or update, I should say, the courses. And we don't do this in a vacuum. Any course major updates that we want to consider doing, we run this by the Contracting Integrational Functional Team, which is a DoD team led by Defense Pricing and Contracting, with members of the Army, Navy, Air Force, MDA, DLA, DCMA, plus the DACMs and the DATM office, to kind of go over these are big changes that we're doing with the course, get their stamp of approval, and then we would implement those changes. One other thing that we'd like to just recommend, that because these new courses and this new delivery method is a complete 180 from your purely online training that you would get under the old system, or an in-person 3-week, 2-week classroom course where you're taken away from your job, because this is a hybrid delivery type of style on the courses. You can work, do your day job, and go to class all in the same day. And so there really needs to be a conversation between the supervisor and the student or the employee on how much time to dedicate per week of each of the training courses. So we guide you to the iCatalog, the DAU iCatalog, in the notes section. That if you scroll down on that webpage, you can see estimated times that we predict the students should take for each week of each of the courses. So, and then when the students apply and register for a course, they'll get a welcome letter from their instructor, and that welcome letter will have the particulars of these are the specific days during the 19-day period of the course that you are going to be in a virtual instructor-led session. These are other times in the course where you have asynchronous or self-paced items that will have to be done. So, but there's really that culture change, that conversation between the supervisor and the employee, or in our case, we call the employees the students, to really work that schedule so the student/employee can have a good balance of what they're going to do in each week when they're registered in a training course.
Yeah, I think also another thing, Kevin, is the importance of the student taking advantage of the office hours with the instructors if they're having any challenges at all with the material, instead of waiting until it may be too late. Because we really want people to make it through these courses to understand the material and get to the next course and eventually to the certification exam.
And that's a great point, Scott. Use the office hours, right? If you just go in there and ask a question, the conversation can help you with the course, but it also can help you possibly in your day job too, of making some contacts with the AU instructors, maybe also having that relationship build with other students in the class, and of course helping you prep for the exam. So if you remember these courses, the exam, the WIA certification exam for contracting, is not necessarily on the objectives of the courses. The exam is based off of the competencies, the new contracting competencies. And we have a prep course, as you mentioned, which is delivered in the same way virtually as the certification courses. And then we also give you another option where it's a pure online training where you get to practice the exam, take some quizzes to get you in the mindset and preparing you to take the new 3-hour, 150-question closed book exam. Just to give you some statistics on the exam, and you can take the exam either virtually or in person. Over 500 people have completed the exams and passed. We have a passing rate of about 81%. So 81% of the people that have taken the exam have passed the course, have passed the exam, I should say. The passing score, the average passing score is about 77%. So that's in line with what we were told of the stringency of the exam. And one word of advice for if you're deciding, hey, should I take the exam in person or online? we do see a significant statistical difference between people that have passed the course that have taken it in person and those that have taken it online. So for those that have taken the exam in person, the passing rate is about 83.5%. For those who have taken it online, the passing rate is about 75%. So be aware, we're promoting in podcasts that you may have seen or webinars that you may have seen us deliver that if you can take the exam in person, there seems to be a much higher chance of those of you to actually pass the exam.
Well, thanks, Kevin. I really appreciate it. That's some really good information. I've got a question for you. You talked about the prep courses, and there's two different avenues there for the prep course. You mentioned the 3900V, which is the virtual class taught by a professor, the student sign up for, or the 3910, which is an online self-paced version. Jim and I, when we teach together, we get a lot of questions from students asking us, well, which one should I take? Is it better for me to take the virtual, or is it better for me to take the 3910? What's your advice? So I'll pose that question to you, Kevin. I know there's two different ways to go about getting ready for the exam, the prep courses. What's your comment on what a student should lean towards as far as virtual or self-paced?
So I believe if you could get into the virtual course, I would apply and register for that first. There's only a limited amount of offerings that we can do for that based on the resources that we have at DAU. So if you can get into the virtual, I would do it. There's a live instructor there that you can ask questions with and have the live sessions. That's what I recommend. Barring that, I'd probably also take the online course no matter what, because that also gives you the self-paced assets that are in the virtual course are the same that's in the online course. So the material's the same. The practice exams are the same between the virtual and the purely online course. Personally, I would do both. I'd try to get into the virtual, but I'd also definitely would sign up for the online training course 3910. One thing to know, your services have basically said if you fail the exam and you have not taken Con 3900V, which is the virtual prep course, they'll require you to take that prep course before you take the exam again. And that's on the services, and that's the policy that they've implemented.
Very good. Thanks, Kevin. So, Kevin, we've got a lot of deployed credentials since we last talked a year ago. We were just going to get started on all of those, and we've deployed quite a few since that time. And I know there's other ones in the pipeline. Can you talk a little bit about the credentials that the contracting field is offering?
Sure. So with DWIA modernization, the new certification for contracting is the DoD contracting professional, basically initial readiness of the contracting professional. And so we know that that's the tip of the iceberg. But underneath that iceberg is your full lifelong learning once you're certified through the end of your career. And so this is where credentials come into play to help you learn things in your current job that you're currently doing, but also career broadening perspectives of, hey, I'm working in an operational contracting position. Maybe I want to move into a systems type job. I can take this systems contracting credential to kind of determine whether I like it or not, get your feet wet in there. So that's kind of the whole idea of credentials. And so DAU right now, we've deployed, 51 credentials. I'm happy to say that 19 of which are contracting, small business, and industrial contract property management related. Now, all of these credentials are cross-functional, meaning you can take a con credential, you can take an ACPM credential or BCF credential or a logistics and sustainment credential, depending on what your need is in your current job or where you see yourself growing in your career. We always advise, speak with your supervisor, see what's the right fit for you. But we've done 20 credentials. We've just recently released our CCON 013 credential, Contract Administration Special Topics. We've also released about 7 or so custom pricing credentials, proposal analysis, quantitative methods, pricing tools and techniques, Excel skills for business. We also have R&D contracting, systems contracting, construction contracting. If you're in contingency, we have 2 credentials for you there. So there's a broad swath of credentials that we have in contracting. We have a few more to come. We still have about 5 custom pricing credentials that we still want to deliver, as well as simplified acquisition procedures, operational contracting, contracting for logistics and sustainment, So there's still things on the horizon out there for credentials. And again, these are for your specific assignments. What's your right fit? Things that you can go put in your IDP and go and grab and get. And hopefully you get them when you need them.
All right. Thanks, Kevin. That sounds exciting. I know we're going to be doing some interviews with some of those folks that like operational contracting, for example, pretty soon. So I think that a kind of a new development with DAU is these webinars, which are attracting lots of people. So tell us a little about webinars.
So we're very proud of the new webinar series that we have. And I believe contracting is leading the way again with regards to not just the amount of webinars, because it's not the amount of webinars, it's really the topic areas of our webinars. So we have webinars, let me list them. We have Connect Live, which is a weekly office hour type webinar where you just show up and you bring questions to the panel of DAU professors and you just have that conversation. I liken our office hour webinars and Connect Live specifically as almost like a talk radio show where we have the hosts. Typically, there's 5 or 6 roving DAU professors that are instructors that are in that fielding questions. And there's some really good banter there, really good information. And the topics can be whatever the workforce bring to the table. There's no set agenda. It's what the workforce brings to the table, and they talk about that. Sometimes we do embed some small business things. We do embed maybe some protests, decisions, and to kind of help you flex your brain muscles there. We also have DCMA, SIG office hours, commercial item group office hours. We also have core office hours. There's the contingency contracting office hour experience that we offer. So there's a variety of topics that we do these office hours are, and they're catching on and people are liking it and the statistics are going up and up. We've just recently started 2 new office hours for other transactions. One is for counselors, for lawyers, which we call the OT Counsel Corner. The other is for the rest of the workforce, which is the OT Huddle. And then we also have OTA Today, which is a monthly webinar with a specific topic and guest speakers. We've also recently deployed Ability One web series, which is going to be done quarterly, where we're talking with Ability One, Source America, National Industries for the Blind, to talk about that program to get those items of importance out to the workforce. There's also a Government Property Matters office hours. DAU has the Great Power Competition. We've also just seen some one-off office hours some one-off webinars where we did source selection procedures. The new source selection procedures come out. We did a webinar on that. So there's many things that we've done. You can also go back onto our DAU events page and you can catch past series, webinar series that we've had. We've had a webinar series on the new certification courses and the credentials, where we're talking with the folks that have actually developed the credentials and the courses that you can listen into. So you can go back into the past, over the past couple of years, and look at these series that we've had. Striking the Balance comes to mind. Small business topics come to mind, as well as our summer law series that we've had the past 2 years, where we get George Washington law professors come in and talk about key topics and issues with regards to law and contract law.
Thanks, Kevin. So I really highly encourage our listeners to go to dau.edu and check out all that's on there. I will put links down below to all those areas that Mr. Linden just brought up. And so hopefully that helps them navigate, helps them navigate. So anything else, Kevin, you want to talk about?
No, I'm happy to come back if you ever want to do this again. And I really can't believe that it's been just over a year since we've implemented the new Back to Basics, and contracting led the way. We'll continue to lead the way. And hopefully what we've done here at DAU can help you in your day-to-day job and also help you look out towards the future of what you want to do with your career. So we're always here to help, and hopefully we are helping you out. Thanks. Appreciate it, Jim and Scott.
Yeah, thank you for coming on to our channel.
Yeah, thank you a lot, Kevin. We really appreciate you spending some time with us. A lot of good information we've covered here today. And yeah, 1 year certainly does fly by. And who knows, maybe we'll be here another year from now. We'll talk about how long it's been since we last talked to you. So thanks again, Kevin. Really appreciate it.
Thanks. I appreciate it too.
So folks, please, if you haven't already, subscribe to our Contracting Conversations channel. Type any comments below to include your questions for future sessions and spread the word of this channel to your peers and to those you supervise or lead. Let us help you answer their questions, and we look forward to having future contracting conversations with you.